Hello everyone, and welcome to Pricing Tips and Quoting Essentials. In this training, we're going to talk about different pricing structures and some guidelines as to using them. Let's take a look. As a Capital Bank card agent, we like to give you as many options as possible. You get to determine your own profitability, so that gives you tons of flexibility when pricing out your accounts. You're able to customize your merchants' rates and fees to give them the best price that will match the high quality of our support and customer service. Let's take a look at some of the pricing structures you can offer. Interchange Plus, 3-tier, 4-tier, 5-tier, rewards, business to business, and even small ticket. Let's take a look at each one of those in a little bit more detail. So let's start with Interchange Plus. Interchange Plus pricing charges your merchant the true cost of the card plus an additional rate and per transaction fee. Easiest way to think about it, they're going to pay what we pay to process that card plus a flat bump across the board. Capital Bank card is going to pass through the true cost of the card with no hidden markup. This is interchange fees plus assessments and card brand fees. That's it. This is also the most effective way to process. This is how all of the big boys are priced out. Any of your national tier 1 merchants like Walmart or Target, these are all going to be on Interchange Plus pricing. And these are going to be recommended for merchants with a high volume or large number of transactions, merchants that process a lot of mid or non-qualified transactions, or any merchant you come across that's already on Interchange Plus pricing. It's very tough to switch them away from that. Now let's talk about 3-tier pricing. 3-tier pricing is going to separate the interchange categories into 3 different buckets according to their cost. You might have already learned about it in our recorded webinar, Qualified, Mid-Qualified, and Non-Qualified, but for right now, this simplifies their statement and is easy to understand. This tends to be one of the most appealing things about Interchange Plus pricing. It's also the most profitable pricing structure for you as an agent. So we tend to recommend it for brand new merchants and smaller volume merchants where that margin doesn't make as much of a difference. You can see some examples of how profit and cost play out using the 3-tier pricing model in our recorded training, How a CB Agent Makes Money. Now let's talk about 4-tier pricing. 4-tier is an option where we split out debit cards. This is also referred to as split credit and debit pricing. This structure essentially charges your merchant a good bit less than the standard qualified rate for any offline debit cards that they accept. When we say offline debit, that means it's just a debit card ran as a credit, so there's never a PIN entered. The average consumer is generally more likely to use a debit card if the business's average ticket is below $70. Therefore, merchants who have a lower average ticket may benefit from this pricing structure. And again, this is also referred to as split credit and debit. This is recommended for merchants that accept a lot of debit cards or merchants that have a lower average ticket. And again, just to remind, when we're referring to debit here, we're referring to offline debit, so not debit with a PIN that would travel on the PIN debit networks. Now, let's touch on 5-tier pricing. So we found that about 20% of Visa and MasterCard types tend to be rewards cards. So if a merchant is aware they're taking a lot of rewards cards, we have the ability to set them up on 5-tier pricing. This essentially charges your merchant a little less than the mid-qualified rate for any rewards cards that they accept. Generally, those will fall to the mid-qualified rate if there is not a rewards tier. This does greatly reduce your profit you'll see in the account, but it can be done to satisfy your merchants without dropping to even lower pricing if you don't want to. And we tend to recommend 5-tier pricing for larger merchants who already know they're taking a lot of rewards cards. But before you're going to quote 5-tier pricing, you might want to check with us because it might make more sense to just go Interchange Plus. You never know. Don't hesitate to take advantage of the pricing department. Now let's touch on business-to-business rates. Business-to-business rates are for companies that commonly take credit cards from other businesses, typically are accepting corporate or purchasing cards. These types of cards will often downgrade to mid or non-qualified categories. To make credit card processing more affordable for these merchants, we lower our mid and non-qualified rates. Usually, we'll set these up for higher average tickets and accounts that do a lot of volume. You will still make money even with tighter margins. These are recommended for merchants who primarily sell B2B or merchants that take corporate and purchasing cards the majority of the time. Do keep in mind, to qualify for B2B pricing, you will have to be a keyed face-to-face, so that merchant will have to be keying those cards. Now let's talk about small ticket pricing. Small ticket pricing is for swiped merchants who have an average ticket below $15. Approval as a small ticket merchant depends on their MCC code, business type code. Since these merchants have a low average ticket, we offer pricing that makes it worth it for them to accept credit cards, such as Interchange Plus 10 and 10. Examples of qualified small ticket businesses are newsstands, parking lots and garages, taxi and limo, dry cleaners, car washes, fast food, etc. These are recommended, again, for merchants that have an average ticket below $15, one of the most affordable ways for them to process credit cards. Lastly, we have rewards pricing. Rewards pricing is a cross between 3 and 5 tiered pricing structures, where the rewards tier will replace the mid-qualified tier completely. Everything else that would normally go to the mid-qualified rate will go to the non-qualified rate. The higher the average ticket, the greater the likelihood that you're taking rewards cards. Keep in mind, few of your competitors will actually pitch this, so it's a great way to gain the merchant's trust and gain that account. This is recommended for larger merchants that take plenty of rewards cards and merchants who will not be receiving other types of transactions that normally go to the mid, for example, a key entered in a retail environment. So some other trainings to learn more about this. Definitely check out Learning the Industry, different types of merchants, qualified, mid-qualified, and non, primary fees on a merchant account, how a CB agent makes money, and of course CB benefits. And now for immediate assistance, please email us at our dedicated team at cbsupport@cayenne.com or give us a call at 1-800-528-0884. Thank you guys so much and have a phenomenal day.